Okay. Right. We'd like to welcome everybody tonight to the Beef Sliders Banter and Beer webinar hosted by our partner Select Sires and Superior Livestock Auction. This is a kind of an informal but educational webinar just to talk a little bit about the working relationship that we're trying to entice and grow between the Select Sire rep force and the Superior Livestock Auction rep force. With the goal of helping us work together to deliver more profit to our commercial cattlemen, the customers that market cattle with us, and the customers that utilize the AI services that Select Sires provides to add to the genetic force of their cattle. We thank you for joining us this evening. If you've got questions, we would ask that you either type them in. I believe there is an active phone line as well here, but if you would like, type them into your screen and they'll relay them on and we'll answer any questions that we have. So just to kind of start out a little bit on the Superior side, just wanted to touch base about who we are and what we do at Superior Livestock, primarily aimed to the Select Sires rep force that is watching online with us. We know that we've probably got a little exposure as to what Superior does, but we wanted to touch on a few points and then move on. And then if you've got more detailed questions, if you'd like to visit afterwards or send us a message online, we'd be glad to answer them. But Superior Livestock is a national company built on trust and reputation. And primarily what we do is market cattle by load lots on contract for immediate to future delivery. We are the nation's largest livestock marketer. We sold last year just a little over 1 million head of cattle, and we do this through 3 different marketing methods. The number one, and what most of the audience is going to be most familiar with, is our video auctions. In this year alone, we've got over 30 auctions scheduled. We broadcast those auctions both over the internet on through SuperiorLivestock.com or Superior Click-to-Bid, as well as on TV. Through the Dish Channel 232 called Rural TV. We also broadcast on there to where our customers can take advantage of sitting at home or in their office and watching online and calling in to bid or bidding over the internet. We're here at Fort Worth in our headquarters tonight, and tomorrow we'll broadcast our auction from here. This is our regular home, but we do have road shows that we host spread across the country in cities like Oklahoma City. 2 weeks from Friday, we'll be in Natchitoches, Louisiana, Council Bluffs, Emporia, Kansas, both Denver and Breckenridge, Colorado, as well as Billings, Montana, Sheridan, Wyoming, and last but not least, of course, Winnemucca, one of the favorites of the year. The second way that we market cattle, and this may be a little more unfamiliar with some of the Select Sires reps that are watching online tonight, but it's the country page, and this is still reaches the buyer base. That most of the cattle are contracted the exact same way, but it allows the cattle to be marketed any day of the week without the regulation of consignment deadlines, and we can also let our customers take advantage of our off week. So when we have our auctions on a Thursday, we have auctions, every other Thursday. On the off Thursday, we have our timed online auction for the country page where we can put a bid price on those cattle and move through a timed auction and allow our customers access to a buyer base there as well, while taking advantage of some competitive bidding. The nice thing about the country page for a lot of our sellers is that they can set an asking price, and then our buyers will bid to those cattle and a lot of times call the reps and visit with us about what they're seeing there. In 2016 alone, we sold over 80,000 head through this manner. And you can see on the screen there where the circle is, I just wanted to highlight with the asking price. When you look online, they'll be broken into calves and feeders, breeding stock, etc. The third way that we market cattle, and this one is probably the least known, is through private treaty. I know a lot of the reps in the country utilize this. I utilize this with some of my customers as well. And last year alone, we sold over 75,000 head marketing just this through this manner. We do sell cattle in all across the country. We break the country into 6 different regions and market cattle by class and sex out of those as we're into the auctions. And one of the things that you'll see if you turn our video auctions on is price spread differences within cattle. This is one of the most powerful tools that we bring to the table for our sellers. Is, just examples on this. This is just some data I pulled off of one of our market recaps. but it's not unusual to turn our video market on and watch 10, 15, $20 differences in the same caliber of cattle. And that's the benefit that we bring with the nation's largest buyer base to a customer set that has cattle that gets price differentiated in real market. We primarily do this through our added value programs. And this is where it's probably going to interest most of the select sire reps the most. But you can see the logos on screen like that you'll see on this slide. Those are the same kind of logos that'll pop up on screen when cattle are selling. And they identify to our buyers the added value programs, the health protocols, the genetics that accompany those cattle when they're selling. And our buyer base has learned very quickly what those programs, what those logos mean. So in the matter of us selling cattle every 45 to 60 seconds, we can flash those logos, and they already know what a VAC 45 protocol is in our system. Some of the value-added premiums from the data that was harvested through Kansas State and Merck Animal Health last year that shows some price differentiation in the cattle we sell, and we've got this information available online as well as your rep would be able to talk to you about this. But our VAC 34 cattle saw over a $2.50 premium over what we would call our VAC 24s. The statistical data shows that unvaccinated cattle selling through our system is almost minute. It's less than 0.1%. But these cattle would have a round of shots at branding and then followed up by a modified live pastorilla and a blackleg prior to shipping. So they would then be ready by a buyer to be boostered on arrival. These would be balling calves off the cow. The VAC 45s are wean cattle, 45 days minimum, with 2 rounds of modified live, blackleg, pastorilla, and ready to go 45 days or longer weaned. And you can sure see the difference in what those cattle brought last year, nearly $9 a hundredweight. We still see an advantage in the source and age premiums. The NHTC programs, which is an export program to the European Union, it's more based on the export side of it than necessarily just the hormone-free side, but hormone-free is part of that protocol. You can sure see a difference in those cattle that are sold through us from last year and in prior years too. The one that will make the most significance to you as a select sires rep will be the superior progressive genetics. These are the cattle that we identify online with logos that tell where those cattle come from, what kind of genetics those cattle are representing, where they've been buying their bulls, what they've been AI into, what company's been using those. So it adds a reputation value to those cattle that a buyer that's not familiar with those cattle whatsoever, that's never had any experience or fed them, maybe has never bought cattle from that customer before, he can have some faith in the type of genetics they have to have an idea of how those cattle might work for him. And if you look over the history of our SPG program, our Superior Progressive Genetics program, you'll see we've had premiums every year since its launch. And that's been one of the easiest programs to drive home value that I know that I have with my customers when I'm speaking to them about how we're marketing cattle, because it just adds a layer of valuation to those cattle that helps a buyer be comfortable with what it is he's getting. The other thing I'd like to point out, if you're wondering who the reps are from Superior Livestock in your area, one of the easiest ways is you can go right online. This is a snapshot from our homepage. If you'll scroll over to the contacts page, and you'll find the Find a Representative. You can plug in right there. You can plug in, any kind of data search you want according to those parameters. A lot of guys will use the state and then go from there to help locate their reps. Or feel free to give us a call. You can call the Fort Worth office here at 800-422-2117 and feel free to visit with us, and we would put you in touch with a rep in your area. You can visit for more information, go to superiorlivestock.com, and by all means feel free to give myself or I'm about to introduce our other speaker today, and you can feel free to give either one of us a call, and we'd be glad to work with you any way we could to answer questions and help put you in touch with the rep that can help you and your customer base. All right, well, I'm going to turn this over to Gerald Raymond. He's my counterpart tonight, and he's a territorial manager, regional manager from the Intermountain West, located Gerald calls Idaho home, and he has a unique ability of being with Select Sires for over 34 years now. He comes with those of you in Select Sires already know Gerald pretty well, but I'll tell the Superior guys that are listening, I've never met a person yet that I've talked to about Gerald that hasn't been excited or happy to work with him. He's one of those reputation guys that everybody speaks highly of. And it's been a pleasure to get the little bit of time that we've had a chance to work together on a few projects. But Gerald's got a great in-depth knowledge about what Select Sires can do, and his program will really be addressing the Superior livestock rep force to help them understand a little bit about what Select Sires can bring to the table to help their customers who may be looking for a way to upgrade their genetics in their customers' cow herds. Gerald?
Clint, thank you so much for that introduction and for the presentation. I cannot pass up this opportunity before I start into my formal presentation to thank Superior Livestock Auction for this opportunity. Being here in historic Fort Worth in the Stockyards District, the history here is absolutely phenomenal, and the hospitality here is second to none. I truly, truly appreciate being able to be here. I'd like to give just a little bit of a history of Select Sires. We began in 1965 as 4 small co-ops located in Ohio and Kentucky, northern and southern Illinois. And then in 1969, we added 5 other co-ops from Utah, Tennessee, Michigan, Mississippi, and Virginia. Each of these co-ops have their own board of directors, have their own managers, and came together in a united effort to streamline and make more efficient the artificial insemination business in the United States. And in 1972, built what has become the world's largest bull housing facility. We currently sell semen in over 95 countries, including Canada, Brazil, and Latin America, and obviously, most importantly to us tonight, in the United States of America. As Clint mentioned, I've been with Select Sires, had a career with Select Sires for more than a decade, and certainly appreciate that opportunity. Select Sires has been at the forefront of estrus synchronization protocols for the benefit of the ranchers that we work with. We have a seat on the beef reproduction task force, and have had the opportunity of working very closely with some of the best people in the industry to develop synchronization protocols to make it possible to use the technology of artificial insemination over the years. To put that in perspective, one of my first and very loyal customers when I first started several years ago was doing field trials for a drug that was new on the market from the Upjohn company called Lutalize. That's how far back that reaches, and Select Sires was right in the mix clear back then to help develop those protocols. Select Sires also pioneered turnkey artificial insemination programs. Again, going back in time, there are some on this webinar tonight and some who have since who've retired before tonight who were instrumental in creating these turnkey programs. And one of my first experiences was in Wyoming, tying portable panels together in order to facilitate artificially inseminating several hundred head of heifers in that project alone. I'm trying to be a little bit careful when I use the term AI tonight, because on the radio the other day I heard the terminology AI and it didn't sound like it was the same terminology we were using. Someone said it was artificial intelligence or relating to robots or something, but anyway, we'll use that term for tonight. You know, I know that there are a lot of people passionate about what they do, and as we go through this webinar tonight, you'll see some people some other people that have passion. Our sales force and our service force is very passionate about the success of our customers, and our customers are very passionate about feeding the world, and are doing a very good job of that, I might say. I'd like to take just a moment and I'll go through these rather quickly. I hope that that it's interesting to you, but I want you to think as you see a logo. I want you to think about what that logo is and how it's embedded in your mind and what you think of immediately when you see it. Obviously, the double golden arches, we all know what that is. And we've seen it a billion times because they've served us a billion times. We know what this logo is, and this isn't very interactive because we don't, because our audience is mostly out in the field in their home offices and so on. But when you see this logo, obviously you know that that's related to computers and iPhones and so on. As you look at this logo, I'm sure that the first thing that comes to your mind is tires, as does this logo. When we see this logo, we think of the Olympics. And there's a difference between the Olympics logo and this logo. And I saw this logo on the way into Fort Worth this afternoon, and that's the Audi automobile company. I think I saw a variation of this logo on the invitation tonight. Pepsi company. We see this logo at rodeos when we go across the country quite often. I see this logo every time I try to get to my email. Try is the operative word there. My grandsons see this logo every time they put on a pair of shoes. I don't know how many people know what this logo is. It's highly used in the youth of our country. Everybody should know what this logo is. They tell me that this is the most recognized logo in the agricultural industry. And obviously there's no one who doesn't, in the livestock industry, who doesn't know what this logo is and what it represents. I would be very surprised if we talk to anybody who raises cattle who doesn't recognize this logo. And finally, this logo. I was told by a member of our board of directors one time that this is the second most recognized logo in the ag industry behind John Deere. So I'm proud of the logo, I'm proud of the company, proud of what we've been able to do over the years. What we're talking about tonight, I think, is something that's very important. The definition of synergy is when two organizations cooperate with each other in an effort to get an effect that's greater than the sum of the two. Hopefully, by joining forces and working together for the common goal of maximizing the profits for our customers, that together we can create more for them than if we tried alone. We are in our 8th year as Select Sires as being a partner with Superior Livestock Auction in their SPG program, and Clint covered this program very, very well. It's a value-added program, and when potential buyers see the SPG logo and the Select Sires logo, they recognize that there's a genetic value there, and identifies for them a profit potential for that particular lot of cattle. This is a bit of information that I saw recently that kind of stuck out in my mind. The week ending January 7th of this year, 2017, it's been reported that 79% of all fed cattle in the United States graded USDA choice or higher. That, in my mind, is phenomenal. The report that I read stated that that's the first time in history that that's ever happened. I'm not naive enough to believe that it's Select Sires' efforts alone that have created that, or anyone else's efforts alone that have created that. But together, I think it has what people have done, working together, has created an interest in creating better cattle. And I think that this is highly complementary to the cow-calf industry in the United States. I do believe strongly that our cow-calf sector is using more information and better information in making genetic choices for their cow herds. I also think it's highly complementary of the feeding industry in this country, because it tells me that our feeders are feeding these cattle to their genetic potential. And on the backside of the whole issue is the fact that our consumers, those who are eating our product, are having consistently a better eating experience each time they cut into a piece of meat that we've produced. And I think that benefits absolutely all of us. I would like now to introduce one of our customers who has become a dear friend of mine personally. He's a young man from Wyoming. He and his family operate a ranch that spans 2 states. It spans Utah and Wyoming. It's a family ranch consisting of his parents, Roland and Linda Willis, their sons Jordan, James, and Jed, along with their spouses and their children. Jordan has with him tonight his wife Jenny, and we welcome her. So glad that she could come and be with him tonight. This family operation consists of 1,800 mother cows, Angus mother cows, that graze on both public and private lands, as well as 7,000 acres of farmland. And I think perhaps most importantly for each of us tonight is that the Willis Ranch is a longtime customer of both Select Sires and Superior Livestock Auction. And Jordan's going to talk to us a little bit about the benefits of synergy and working together, and we'll turn the microphone over to him now for his presentation.
It's truly an honor to be here. I want to thank, right offhand, I want to thank Superior Livestock for all they do for our operation, and also Select Sires. I got a lot of passion for the livestock industry, as do we all. We all have passion for what we do, and I think we'd all agree that this is the greatest industry in the world to be a part of. Be stewards of the land and take care of these animals. When you think of Select Sires and Superior Livestock, in my mind, it has a reputation for driving the market, for supplying me with quality genetics, and then in turn I can market those genetics. I'm going to talk about our operation and kind of what we do to market what we have. This is a picture of my family. Back in the early 60s, my mom and dad started out. I think they had about 90 Hereford cows, and they were just trying to get along. And he had turned to Black Angus in the time, and he had a bull sell, and the guy came up to him and said, "If you want to be successful in this business, you got to buy quality." And my dad took that to heart. And ever since then, he's been outbidding the registered breeders, buying bulls, and we've been AIing and trying to improve our herd. And I guess one thing that I've kind of taken a hold of is we've got a lot of technology to use in our day and age, and this is just a picture. You can see I got a handheld device. We keep all of our records of our mama cows, weaning weights, what she's bred to, a lot of information. And that's kind of our first step in how we start selecting for our replacement females, is that tagging there. That's one step. Like I say, we try to utilize technology, and in my eyes, one thing that can move your herd ahead forward the fastest is we've got DNA. And I know that's a lot of information there, but that gives us a list of our sire groups, how many calves they sire, and how they're competing. We then we're able to call our bulls on how they're performing for us. This slide here is our replacement heifers. We're able to, we select their scores. That gives you a bunch of information. They always ask me, well, what do you select for? And I always say, well, we want the best across the board. We want the best of everything. So that's, we're trying to, of course, as many of us ranchers, you sell your calves by the pound. So you gotta You got to have a heavy calf. And there's a lot of other traits that we select for. And I just have a few slides on that. This is a lot, and what I want to kind of stress tonight is we've spent years and years selecting for quality, and in turn, that gives you uniformity. When we sell, basically we sell our whole calf crop as one lot. We have, we calve for a longer period of time, so we have our March, April calvers all go in one lot, and our May calvers go in another lot. They're just lighter calves. They're born a little later. But, I think that's a good point, is years and years of quality selecting genetics and performance. We've wondered often sometimes, well, should we split them up and put, a heavy bunch and a lighter bunch, and we sit around the kitchen table, and at the end of the day, we're like, well, how would we sort those? They're just so uniform. How would you decide what you're going to do? This is a lot of heifers. We're trying to build a name and a reputation for having good cattle, and we've got to the point that most of the time, or the last several years, our heifer calves have been selling as replacement heifers. In there, we try to identify, the top 20% for marblings, what those calves averaged, or top 16% for dollar feedlot. Like Clint said, is, you have Superior Livestock is good at identifying the value-added programs. You can see some of our logos there. I'm sorry, this was in 2015. I didn't put the newer slide up here. This is the last 3 years, and like Nancy says, why can't we just get rid of that 2016, cover it up? There's a big price jump there, decrease, I should say. But I want you to look there and look at our steers versus our heifers. And I hope that kind of brings some of what we're trying to do, quality. I'm hoping that our steers aren't selling that much below the market, but I'm hoping to show that how much above the market our heifers are bringing over our steers. That's a picture of ship day a couple of years ago. There's not a whole lot of variation in there from calf to calf. Uniformity's a big thing for us. I've got a video here, and I'd like to say, this is a people business that we're involved in. It's not what I do, but it's people like Superior Livestock and Select Sires. It's connections you have that make you successful. Every year we have what we call the Willis Ranch Appreciation Dinner, and we get together like Gerald said, we're just a little family operation. There's, my 2 other brothers and the wives and the kids and mom and dad that help us out on the ranch. So just a handful of us. But we have this Willis Ranch Appreciation Dinner, and there's about 75 people that show up to that, and they all contribute to our ranch. And not everybody comes. I mean, it's just amazing how much it takes to run this industry to make us successful. So I just want to leave you with this little video, and I hope I can figure out. There we go.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle a calf and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, tame cantankerous machinery, come home hungry, have to wait lunch until his wife's done feeding visiting ladies, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon, and mean it. So God made a farmer. God said I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, and dry his eyes and say maybe next year. I need somebody who can shake an axe handle from a persimmon sprout and shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God had to have somebody willing to ride the ruts at double speed to get the hay in ahead of the rain clouds and yet stop in midfield and race to help when he sees the first smoke from a neighbor's place. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend to pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk and replenish the self-feeder and finish a hard week's work with a 5-mile drive to church. Somebody who'd bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
I want to thank you guys again, Superior Livestock and Select Sires. I assume that all the company has people like Gerald Raymond and Kelly Kunzler. And I could sit up here and talk all night about all the good things they do, but they make us successful. And I want to thank them and the organizations that they work for. So thank you.
So we'll give everybody a minute to gulp hard and take a deep breath and recognize that there's a lot of passion in this industry and why there's passion. I'd like to there's just a couple more slides that we'd like to show and discuss very briefly. Our goal is to create more programmed cattle. That's our hope. And all of you in the Superior family know what that means. Those programmed cattle are very important. And it's important to identify those cattle, and that's our next slide, to be able to identify those cattle so that when they come to town, when they're shown on a screen or however they're marketed through your system, that people understand that there's a value there. And there's a value all the way through the chain. There's a value right from the time that calf's born until it's consumed. It is our vision that well, let me just say this. When we go back to the logos issue, you'll probably see a greater presence. You'll see the Select Sire logo a lot more at Select away sales, or what you guys call the road trips, than you have in the past. We're going to make a great effort to work very closely together with the Superior reps and the Select reps together. It is our hope that together we can create some synergy for success for our customers, all of our customers. Clint and I were talking just a few minutes ago about how this program looks, and we recognize and realize that this isn't going to happen from Fort Worth or from Columbus. This is going to happen out in the country on the ground. And it is our hope that the select reps and superior reps will be able to shake hands over a meal or over a tailgate or something to get to know one another, to get to know what another does, to help promote what we create, and be able to do that for the benefit of our customer. We recognize that not every straw semen results in a calf that's marketed. And it's like Jordan talked about a minute ago. A lot of the product of that ends up back in the cow herd. And obviously that makes a huge difference long term to the success of that rancher over a long period of time. So it is our hope that we can work closely together and we can create more of those programmed cattle. We truly believe that there's a lot of programmed cattle out there that haven't been identified yet. They may be there, but we just haven't done as good a job as we hope to do from a select family of identifying those calves and getting them to the superior reps so that they know. And our hope is to, as soon as we know where those cattle are, that we can make a reference to the superior livestock reps. And we would also hope that in turn the superior livestock reps would, when they see an opportunity for a herd of cattle to be synchronized and or AI'd, that they would let us know so that we can work together in a partnership to create success for our customers. With that, Clint, is there anything last word? I think we've got time for questions. I'll turn the mic back to you, Clint. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerald. Appreciate it. As Gerald said, he did a great point of bringing out that the goal of this is simply to try to forge some relationships between our two rep forces. I know as a superior rep that we've got customers that have a lot of questions about AI, and we all know that in the real world that we're going to market cattle that are AI sired by another company, and we're going to market cattle that aren't AI sired, and Gerald knows that they're going to AI cattle that are get marketed through other channels, not through us. You know, it's not an exclusive relationship as much as it is just an opportunity that if two rep forces that are both geared towards the success of their customers can get a chance to work together, a lot of times we can create more synergy that way than what we can on our own. I know I've had a chance to work with a few of your reps in the field and visit with customers that had either they were my current customers interested in AI or their current AI customers interested in a new marketing outlet, but also we've had a chance to talk to a few customers that hadn't ever used either one service, and the combination of the two of us working together drew some interest from them because they felt like they had more of an upper hand in customer service that way. So I guess as Gerald said, I would ask, do we have any questions or anything from the audience or anything come across the screen? Okay. Well, if we would encourage you, if for those select Sire reps that are out here, feel free to contact Gerald or myself or reach out to Superior. As I said earlier, you can always contact the Fort Worth office. You can locate a rep in your area right off of our website. For my Superior colleagues, if you're interested in locating the select Sire reps in your area, if you'd like a chance to sit down, maybe contact them and visit with them, feel free to contact me or Gerald, or I'd be glad to try to put you in touch with the local guys in their area, just like we'd be glad to put them in touch with you. If you have any questions going forward, please let us know. We will record this conversation and email it back, so if you want to share it with somebody, or if you want to go back and look at something that was said, or if you just want to go back and enjoy Jordan's presentation and not listen to the two of us up here, I can understand that too. With that, we'd invite you to join us in the morning, 7:30 sunrise, 7:30 Central Time for sunrise, 8 o'clock for the Superior Livestock Auction, and we've got a little over 47,000 head selling here tomorrow out of Fort Worth. And then 2 weeks from this Friday, note the date change, not 2 weeks from tomorrow, but 2 weeks from next Friday, we'll be in Natchitoches, Louisiana for the Gulf Coast Classic. We would invite you to tune in and watch that, or better yet, come down, because if you want to have some fun, Rayburn and his crew always make it a pleasant experience, that's for certain. With that, we'll shut it off for the night, and if you've got questions, please reach out and contact us. Thank you.